With the imminent release of Starfield, one of the most anticipated games by many of us, myself included, it only makes sense that Xbox is going to continue to release merchandise for this upcoming game. Which leads me to the Xbox News blog post that came out yesterday about console wraps. Now, console wraps are not a unique thing by any stretch of the imagination. I've actually done quite a few reviews of them on my channel, and we'll go ahead and really quickly show you what kind of is out in the market now. This is just one of many sites that I found by just typing in Xbox console wrap. But the idea is that a console wrap is usually a sheet of vinyl stickers that you have to basically stick on your console. Now, these have that vinyl, obviously they're vinyl stickers, but they have that kind of loose glue on the back of them, like you'd see on the back of a Fathead, for example, where you can put these on and quickly take them off. Now, they will lose adhesiveness over time as you keep putting them on and removing them, but the idea is that they are not permanent by any stretch of the imagination. The draw is it's going to be incredibly difficult for you to get your console to look like this, where you see absolutely no seams anywhere, where the sticker sheets match. Oftentimes, the hole cut out for the power button or the disk drive or the sync button or the USB don't line up quite perfectly. And sometimes it's a manufacturer error, and for the really cheap ones, it always is. And sometimes it's just the fact that you're not going to be able to put a square sticker on 100% perfectly without air bubbles or any sort of small variance which will cause gaps. Now, thankfully, the Xbox is black. So the nice thing about most of these wraps is if they're a little darker in color, it does blend in somewhat well, but you will always have these distinct seams on the variants you make. Which brings us to the news from yesterday, that Xbox Series X console wraps are launching this year. The key here is the word wrap. This is not a vinyl sticker. We know gamers want to be able to customize their consoles to show support for their favorite games, and they're going to basically be delivering on this. And they've got a couple things out now that you can go ahead and get, as we talked about Starfield merchandise, but they're also going to be releasing some new skins. And the best way to, wraps rather, see, I'm even saying skins. The best way to actually show this is, a quick little video here. Now, what makes these so cool is that they are one solid piece. You can see them here. They're the seams are already put together. The measurements are already done. It is already pre-measured in a way that you're not going to be able to put on by yourself, like I said, with the adhesive. And the nice thing about these wraps is that they just snap into place, and they can be removed very, very easily. And there you go. You've just wrapped your plain Xbox with a Starfield graphic. So it goes on to say that the wraps were designed specifically for Series X and have a custom precision fit. They've obviously taken consideration into it where all the vents are clear, that feet were added at the bottom of the wrap to ensure that air can flow freely through the console. It's made with this high-tech fabric finish, so the wraps fold around your console with a nice loop and hook enclosure. And the interior of the wraps are printed on silicone, which should help keep some of the tension so that they don't slide around. But here's what it looks like. This is actually a very simple design, but a very intelligent one. And I knew it would only be a matter of time before console developers really took console customization to the next level. I've been very adamant about this for many years, that I love my limited edition consoles, but it's just a piece of plastic. I love my Halo series console, and I'm so happy I have it, and I love looking at it. So I'm not going to get a wrap because I don't want to cover up the unique design I have. But my PlayStation, for example, is just those boring white plates. Now, PlayStation has finally started to branch out by selling additional pieces of plastic covering, most notably the Spider-Man logos that they have that just came out last week. And they also have a plethora of just very basic colors, red, blue, green, whatever. The nice thing about this edition versus that, at least, is it's very simply removed and it doesn't require any storage of any spare parts. It just basically takes what you have and covers it. Now, obviously, there will be a small indentation where your power button is more flush with the front of the console. Obviously, the thickness of this wrap is, not negligible. So it will dive in. It will be a little bit more in depth than it was before. Same with the CD tray. Same with the USB button. It's not going to be unnoticeable. It will be marginal, but it will look slightly different. And I've got to admit, and they show it very, very briefly here, very, very briefly. Not that you ever look at the back of your console, but there's not a lot going on in the back. It's basically just, that adhesive piece. Now, they did do some smart things with the design, as they mentioned. You see these small little tabs right here. There's one right here. It probably doesn't come in well because of the scroll bar. But this is what's going to hold it up so it doesn't slide down towards the ground, because over time, I am sure that this Velcro strap could loosen. So the fact that these straps the fact that these tabs are in place will hold it in such a configuration that it doesn't slide down. I think most people store their console like this. I'm actually one of the few that actually turns mine horizontally so that my Xbox power button is basically upright and the CD tray is horizontal. But this is clearly designed not with that aesthetic, especially when you look at some of the markings and the words. It would look sideways, obviously. So this is designed for people who are storing their console vertically. They also do sell some initial other patterns right now, these kind of generic camo covers that we've been seeing them peddle on their controllers for years. And any of these, including the Starfield one, will cost you $44.99 USD. I'm excited to see where this goes. There's a lot of good stuff out here that they could do. There's clearly markets and markets and markets and markets for these things. If you just do wraps and stickers, just look at the litany of designs and look at the storefronts that exist and all of these. I did a specific one on Minecraft, but if you just look up just a console wrapper in general, there are so many that exist. And again, because they're vinyl stickers, they don't really they don't look as professional as something like this. Now, this is a premium price point, and it would be very easy for them to start bundling these in collector editions. And think of one of these for the next Gears game, and think of one of these to go in parallel with a potential Series X Elite controller skin, for example. That would be very, very cool. So I'm glad that this has begun. I'm curious to see where it goes. And I think this is going to sell incredibly well, because I think this is the solution that many people wanted, but we were never really able to get because of the fact that everything was sticker based. Now, I will always still, in closing here, I will always defend the custom consoles much more. It's a much cleaner look. You still see a little bit of the base here. This will sag even with this tag here, and it still looks really good. But the way that they make them with the actual plastic mold when they release the console with the unique color features, I think will always be preferred to this. That said, the hot game of the month, the hot skin of the month. So I'm interested in it. Not for me personally, but I think for many, many others, this will be something that a lot of people are going to really enjoy to have. And if Starfield is as amazing as I think it's going to be, you're probably going to want a keepsake or two. That wraps up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.